welcome to Stupid Movies, where we watch stupid movies so you don't have to. My name is DJ, and I'm joined by my sister, Deborah.
What's up?
And today we're going to be talking about The Accountant, which came out in 2016.
Yep.
Yeah, 2016. So this came up because I just saw the trailer for The Accountant 2 in the theaters, and I had no idea The Accountant was a thing. And I was like, that looks interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen the movie, but I knew it existed.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So at least the word knew it existed. I didn't. But this is a movie starring Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, John Bernthal, J.K. Simmons, John Lithgow, and then, a bunch of other people whose names aren't too important. Yeah.
Wow.
What? Okay. Cynthia.
You don't gotta name them all.
No. She was like a main character.
Oh,
in this movie.
Medina? You skipped her?
Yeah, Cynthia Adai Robinson. Wow. I mean, she's one of them people, like, you see them and you're like, I know that actress.
Did never know her name.
And you don't know their name. Yeah.
Agreed. I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
You had to mention she was a major character.
She was.
You was gonna leave out the one black person.
Okay. I understand that, but it's not like she was. Now I can't think of it. Now you're throwing me off.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Listen, okay.
I'm listening.
Those actors were in the movie. But this is a movie about an accountant who has autism. He's on the autism spectrum, high functioning autism. So he has like awkward socials and like aversion to loud noises and stuff. They kind of pointed at. And how do I put it? It's not a mystery.
What, this movie?
Yeah, just kind of like a thriller. It reminds me of a Jason Bourne Light.
Yeah, I feel like it's just an action movie, really. Like the quote unquote mystery behind it is really not that important.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we mentioned her, Cynthia Adai Robinson. Her character, Medina. They had a whole arc with her character and J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
And wow, at first it was kind of interesting. I'm trying to figure out where it goes. By the end of it, it's like, oh, okay. I'm not mad at it, but it didn't have to be in the movie at all. There's the movie with the accountant happens separately. Like they don't even encounter each other.
Agree. Like I kept thinking that in the end that they will like come face to face, and I'm thinking maybe she lets him go or something. Yeah, so until there's the thing where like you're right, like we could have not had them two in this movie and it would not have mattered. Like I understand why they're there, because basically J.K. Simmons is a treasury agent who I guess so basically the accountant works, because we didn't really explain it, so it's kind of hard to talk about them without explaining what he does.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the accountant.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's an accountant, but he also does a lot of accounting work for like mobsters and terrorists or whoever else, some very bad people.
Yeah.
But I guess if they're too bad, then he might, murder them.
We'll get to the murdering.
Yeah. But he was also setting Jake, and we don't find this out until the end. He's also setting J.K. Simmons up with like, hey, there's going to be a drug delivery here, or this is happening, or look for this guy. So he was actually feeding J.K. Simmons with some pretty high profile cases based off of the people he was working with.
Yeah.
And so basically J.K. Simmons is retiring. It was kind of wanted to sort of hand it off to Medina, but he had to make sure Medina was, I guess, worthy.
Yeah. And that was their whole story.
Yeah.
Basically, what Medina was doing in the movie was just a test to see if she was good enough to take over the reins, because he's being fed information by the accountant, and that's how he catches all the fraudulent criminals.
Yeah, because he had a pretty stellar career, and it turns out it was only stellar because the accountant was giving up these people. Because even by his own accounts beforehand, which we really didn't see, but he was saying that he wasn't a good agent. He was just sort of going through the motions or whatever. And basically he came face to face with the accountant after the accountant murdered the Gambino family, basically.
Yeah, so the movie starts off like this.
Yeah.
So, which I have to say, well shot and unexpected when it came up. Because it shows, like, obviously there's a cop going in, a bunch of the mob family is being killed by somebody, and then it ends with the person walking up behind the cop, but you never see, you see from his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you never see their faces or anything, and it turns out that that whole situation was J.K. Simmons' character, and the accountant was the person that was killing off the mob family, which they explain later why, because they killed his cellmate or something like that.
Yeah, so he had a cellmate, which there's one thing I don't understand, but we'll get back to. So he had a cellmate that he was very close to, and when the cellmate was released from prison, the Gambino family took him out because he was giving them up.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to get protection from the U.S. government, but J.K. Simmons, being lazy and not doing his job, just decided not to do it, which just didn't make any sense. Like, I can get being lazy at work, but just not giving the protection, just not doing anything. Like, this guy's feeding you all of this information, and you're just like, oh, whatever. So the guy ends up dying because he's out in the open world now. There's zero protection, and basically within a week he was dead.
Yeah.
So the accountant who was in prison for other reasons, which they explain, not really important, but whatever. He escapes from prison and murders the entire family because they killed his friend.
Yep. And so that's the starting scene, which I think they played it really well because you didn't know what was happening there. And when they explained it, I won't say it was unsatisfying. It was like, oh, wow, that happened. But still, the story with J.K. Simmons and Medina, it was not needed. Yeah. It wasn't unenjoyable, but it just wasn't needed in the movie.
I agree. It really boils down to is we didn't need this. Yeah. Like, there was really nothing inherently wrong with it, but maybe it's because they don't cross paths or something. It just kind of makes it seem like, oh, okay.
You know, nothing one group of people does affects what the other group of
exactly.
people do.
Like,
I think towards the end, they actually go into the accountant's house. Yeah, I think that was it. That's as close as they get, right? They actually find his house and
yeah, but he wasn't there. He was long gone. He wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
So, and then when at the end, when the lady calls him and basically tells him, you know, this address, like, this is what's about to happen next. At the end of the movie, I was expecting like the feds are going to show up to this house, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I think because they never cross paths and what they're doing doesn't affect him at all, we didn't need it.
Yeah. But okay, so the accountant side of things, the movie is not chronological. A lot of stuff is him remembering like his childhood. But basically, if we're starting at the beginning, he's a kid. Obviously, he has like you said, he's high. Well, now he's high functioning, but he had autism, and it seemed pretty severe. The way they were displaying it.
I think it was probably like, first of all, his parents is awful. Like, the very first thing I said to how
horrible his parents were. Oh my God.
His parents is awful. So they take him to the institute, and it's like, hey, basically, like, we don't know what to do with this kid, and it's just like, you know, you can work with him.
Yeah.
And they sort of worked with him.
Sort of.
Yes.
He was the able father to have a was job. Better than the mother.
Yeah, but still not
good. The mother, you know what made me mad was the mother sitting there at the institute. You're asking professional help, which you should do. Like, we're not going to pretend like it's easy. It's not easy. I have overactive children. They're not on the spectrum, but like, that's hard. I can't imagine having a child that is on the spectrum, especially if it is like a more severe case of it, and you have to deal with that. It's difficult, right? Yeah. But she sits there and tells the person, you're getting professional help, and she tells the person, oh, to other people is challenging. For the parents, it's a problem. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was so, and like the thing she was listing, like he wants to wear the same shirt, and I'm like, well, let him wear the same shirt.
Yeah. If it's, and that's the thing. If it's like, if it gets to, especially in his condition, that's a problem. Then wash that shirt
and put it back on.
Put it back on him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and like, like the doctor was saying, it's like, well, you can work with him, and then, there's no telling what level of function he will be able to have in society.
Yeah.
But if you work with him, he will be able to do something. And clearly, he was able to function in society.
Yeah, and well, that's what the doctor, like you said, that's what he was telling them at first. It's like, okay, maybe in the future his goals are he wants to get married and do this and get a house and have a job. But, right now they're a little bit different, and it's like we got to work with them. And when you do work with them, then they can go out in society and, like, I don't know, it's just a movie, but people act like this in real life.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yo, just, you can work with, of course, not every case is the same, right? Yeah. But I would wager to say the vast majority of cases can go on and live a normal life.
Yeah, or
right?
Yeah, or some variation of it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, because like his only friend is his brother. Well, then let his only friend be his brother. Right. If he's happy with that, then that's fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? If he needs to eat breakfast at 8:00 and on that, let him eat breakfast at 8:00. If it's the same thing every day, let it be the same thing every day.
Especially when you're dealing with someone that has a social issue, and it's not just that, like, oh, we just got to get him past this little mark. It's like, no, there's an actual social issue. Yeah. So let his brother be his friend. Like, that way he has that friend, he has that connection. And then just try and do things to make things, obviously things needs to be the same. In this situation. When you break from the norm, that's when it breaks down. We see a scene with that, which I thought that was well shot. Not when he was a kid. There is one when he was a kid, but there when he was an adult.
Oh yeah, they threw his whole day off. I was like, oh, you
yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah. So God, the parents,
they were awful.
Just god awful. God awful.
And then like she just leaves. Like, it's too much. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she abandons the family, which I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Which then the father was, I mean, I guess you didn't abandon him, but training your kid to be an assassin is not better.
Yeah, so to explain, the father was in the army, and basically he took him and his brother to a bunch of assassin-like people to train them.
I'm guessing wherever he was stationed, because he was in like psychological operations. So whatever his father did, well, his father was doing some super secret, awful army stuff because his name was like redacted from files.
Yes.
So it's like wherever his father was doing super secret, awful army stuff, he would bring his kids with him and then train them. And basically there's this one scene where this grown man is beating up his two kids, and he's just like, keep going.
Yeah. The person that's there is like, okay, I think they're done for today. He's like, we can't do more. And he's like, no.
No.
Keep going.
Yeah. Just like, dude.
Yeah.
And, on one hand, it's like, I certainly, where he says is like, I don't want him taking advantage. Makes sense, right? Because he could easily be taken advantage of. So he knows he needs to learn how to protect himself and deal with it. But that is not the way to do it.
That's an extreme, right?
Yeah.
Just teach them normal life stuff. That's how they don't get taken advantage of. Like math. I don't know, something like that. But
like you got the guy in prison teaching the boys social cues. You should have been teaching him that, not how to murder someone.
Yeah. Did the father work on social cues and stuff?
No,
how to read people?
No, he learned that in prison.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, which is probably why he was mad that guy died.
Yeah, because that guy because you figured he doesn't get close to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even with his brother, who he clearly cared about, his brother's like, you didn't miss me. And it's like, bro, he missed you. He just can't tell you he misses you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he doesn't get close to a lot of people. He got close to Francis. That's the old guy in prison, by the way. Yeah. The guy from Arrested Development.
Yes.
The father from Arrested Development. So it's like, and he also did it with Dana, Andra Kendrick. Did you mention her?
Yeah, I mentioned Andrew Kendrick. Anna
Is that her name?
Kendrick.
Yeah.
It's Anna.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't talk about her character
yeah.
yet.
So there's not a lot of people he get close to.
Yeah.
But if you harm someone he gets close to, then it's just like,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
you know, his father taught him to be an assassin, so
yeah.
You know,
Well, he's gonna
get a
use those
little
skills.
assassinated.
Yeah, use a little bit of his assassination skills.
Yeah. So, God, just horrible. But because of all that, because of how he grew up, you know, his mom left him. Oh, that first scene with the puzzle, I was like, you solved that puzzle upside down? What?
Wild. When I saw that, I was like, are you kidding me?
Good Lord. I can't do that.
Right? I'm like, bro, I need a picture on the box for real.
So obviously he's a very intelligent kid. And you know what? I think that's good to highlight too. Although I think movies kind of do a bad thing because they do act like some of these I would say neurodivergencies are like superpowers, and it's like, okay, they're not superpowers.
They're always Rain Man.
yeah. But this does also highlight that there's not a connection between the two, between someone being on the autism spectrum and being intelligent, right? You know, it doesn't mean they're going to be intelligent or they're going to not be intelligent, right? It has nothing to do with that. But obviously he was an intelligent kid, which you can see from that. Which leads him to his life as the accountant. So, where do we go with this? There are a few good things. The old couple, man, there were some good scenes in this movie.
Yeah, I guess if we start at the beginning, he's doing normal accounting where he does accounting for some pretty bad group of people, but he also does accounting for normal people, like the old couple who were struggling with their taxes and stuff.
Yeah, doing the accounting for normal people is your cover, which he learned from Francis. So we have to remember, Francis is really important. His whole job as the accountant it came from what he learned from Francis. Because Francis was telling him about, like, okay, have like a small business, whatever, not making that much money, and basically that's what his accounting firm is. And he laundered the money through the other businesses in the strip mall.
Yeah, but okay, to stop on my nitpick a little bit.
I'll say, okay, all right.
No, I'm gonna stop on my own nitpick. I normally complain when you guys do it, but I'm gonna do it myself. Medina puts it together because they're trying to find basically an accounting firm. So one, he always uses aliases of mathematicians. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Forgive
me. Famous mathematicians. Yeah.
Yes. So Lewis Carroll, whoever. I don't know math people. So he has one, but they're looking for people who makes a lot of money because what this guy is doing, he should be rolling in cash.
Yeah.
So basically, they end up finding one who's making about $75,000, so not that much, but decent. And then she says, "Well, see if he doesn't work for the people in the plaza." And I think that's a stretch because if I'm a small business and there's an accounting firm next door to me.
Like, you're probably going to use that.
I'm probably going to use that guy, especially if he's a nice guy and he's right here. Like, why wouldn't? I feel like that was a huge stretch.
Yeah, how she found him was a stretch. Honestly, I think it would be extremely hard to find this person. If he was in real life, it would be extremely hard to find him because what are you looking for? The way she looked for stuff, even how she listened to the audio,
also a stretch.
Extreme stretch.
Because then she sends it to like an audio guy and a language guy, and I'm like, the guy is clearly speaking English. Why am I sending this to a language guy? And the guy's like, he's speaking American English. No, duh.
Well,
he's clearly speaking American English.
American English, yeah.
Yeah, and he's clearly citing a nursery rhyme. Like,
you never heard of Solomon Grundy?
Yeah, so to me, like, her sending that audio off doesn't make any sense because you know everything about the audio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was nothing to discover. He's speaking English and he's citing a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
There's nothing to discover from that audio file.
There isn't.
Yeah, everything that she did to find him was a super stretch. We'll talk about some other things too, but those were stretches.
Yeah, so personally, I don't think she finds him.
No, she didn't really display any real intelligence.
Yeah. So, but funny thing, so the old couple that he helped, he basically helped him, basically told him to lie or stretch the truth. Stress the truth, in order to save money on their taxes. And I'm like, dude, do this many people actually owe money on their taxes? I've never owed the federal government. Of course, I've always owned our local government because for whatever reason I can't pay them enough money.
I don't know. It's like I keep sending you $600. You keep telling me I owe you $600. I don't understand.
It's like, yeah, but another 600. Yeah. You owe me that.
Yeah, and I'm like, do I though? Yeah. And then they ask for like 8,000 pieces of paper. I'm like, whatever, just take the $600.
So I never had to pay the federal or state government. I always got a refund. I don't understand.
Never. The moment the federal government says I owe them money is the moment I don't pay taxes anymore. It's like, I'm not giving you money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already giving you money. Not extra money.
At the end of the day, don't be like, you also owe me. No, I don't.
So yeah, I'm like, do people really need to find these deductions in order to not have to pay at the end of the year?
Maybe because they're self-employed. It's because he's self-employed.
Oh well, yeah, you always owe money if you're self-employed.
Yeah, but he clearly needed an accountant before he went to the accountant because it's like their stuff was all screwed up.
Yeah. But anyway, they were happy, and so they were like, "Oh, you can come by the house anytime," because that's how rural people do. It is, I guess.
It is. I wouldn't do it, but yes.
Yeah.
And clearly, when this guy pulls out a big old gun and starts shooting on my property, I'm like, this is why we don't invite strangers to your home.
Well, yeah, he said he shoots, right? Because he asked him if fishing. He was like, I don't fish, I shoot. And he's like, yeah, you can come do that too. All right. And so, he's super far away with a sniper rifle.
I guess it's not technically. I don't know nothing about guns.
I don't know if it's a sniper.
It's like a 50 cal something or another.
Whatever.
Right?
It's a big gun.
Yes.
Really, yeah. And so, obviously he's on target for all of them. They're like, wow, that's crazy.
And I would kind of be like, don't come back.
Yeah. Like, oh, that was nice. And, bye. So you had them, which was interesting because it comes back where they're trying to kill the accountant and they do it at the old people's home. And probably a smart move on their part because they knew his home would be, would you know his home would be guarded? Because he had cameras all around his house. He had cameras
all over the place.
But you would, if it was a private security team.
I would think they didn't seem incompetent.
Yeah.
So they've been smart enough to scope out his house, know that it's heavily guarded, and say, we'll get him away from home. Yeah. And they just followed him to the old folks' house.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, we can't get him here because they had to look at the place because they never attempted it at his house.
Yeah.
So they had to know, this is too dangerous. We'll follow him wherever he goes. It could have been like Burger King and they probably would have attempted it. But he was at the old people's house when they tried to kill him.
Yeah, that scene was insane.
Yeah.
Because, they're like, okay, call him back in the house, threatening the old people with the guns and whatnot. And then while they're doing that, he just snipes one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, because he already knew they were there. I mean, obviously, he probably noticed something that's out of place, especially him because he notices everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So something's out of place, and then he's like, somebody's there.
Yeah.
So he takes them out, which is crazy, and then just waves bye to the old people.
Yeah. If I was okay, so those old people now have dead bodies at their house. What do I do with this?
That was one of my nitpicks. Everywhere there were just dead bodies. Anna Kendrick's character.
Oh, there's 4 dead dudes.
There was a bunch of dead people all over her apartment.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just left.
Yeah.
And people were going to report that. The police don't have questions for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say these men, but then how'd she explain how I
Someone came in and killed them. I mean, evidence is literally going to show she didn't kill them.
Well, I was going to say, they know she didn't do it, but I would have so many questions. Okay, 1, why is 4 men looking to kill you? Then, how did these 4 dudes end up dead?
Yeah.
And just in really violent ways. He didn't waste no time.
Also, I noticed, like if you wanted to play dead with him, it wouldn't work because after he got a body down, whether they were alive or not, he shot them.
So that is actually an actual real technique that they do in, I guess, Mozambique or something like that.
What?
This is according to the internet now. But basically, it's just like, because if they're wearing body armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't assume that you killed them because you were, body shots and then 2 to the head.
Yeah.
It's like a whole technique or whatever because, just in case the body shots didn't take them out, they're definitely dead now.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a thing. A real thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that now.
Yeah. But yes, I did know. I was like, oh, okay. Always 2 to the head afterwards.
Yes, always. And it's like, geez, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just methodical with it.
Yes. I guess what we didn't talk about is why people are at the end of Kendrick, because he has a computer lady basically giving him new jobs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So there's a person that he talks to, and she has a robotic voice on the phone, and basically they work together. That's how he stays under the radar. She gives him the new names, the new places to live, and all of that, and that's how he gets the accounting jobs. So he got a new one at a company because the company is missing money, right? An accountant at the company found out that there was something wrong with the books. Why is it always like this in movies and stuff? If you're going to have some messed up books, you probably should have an accountant that's on board with what you're doing, because there's always some accountant that found it.
Agree. Like, if I'm going to do dirty stuff, then I need to know the money guy also has to be dirty.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to be like, where's this money going?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Like, they have to. Yeah, it was very weird. And that's one of my things. Like, I'm not sure what this guy's plan was. He didn't really have a good plan. I know what he wanted to do, but it was just, he was doing it all bad. And we just making it messier and messier.
Yeah, it kept getting worse.
Yeah, and I'm like, stop.
So, yeah, the CEO of the company, basically what his plan was to embezzle money from the company, but then slowly put it back in to make profits seem like they're higher, which raises the stock price, which in the end gets him more money.
Right, because he was taking the company public.
Yeah.
So when he's taking it public, he started putting the money that he had embezzled back. So it looks like they're making more money than they actually are, which raises the shareholder value, I guess.
Yeah.
When they go public, which, I mean, certainly understand that. But again, that's another thing. When you go public, everyone starts looking at the books.
Yeah. Because when you're public, your books are public.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he didn't think anyone was going to find it. Andrew Kendrick character said, hey, money is missing. And they're like, no, it's not. So they hired an outside accountant, which is normal, I guess, to say, hey, double check us. There's no money missing. And this girl is wrong because, she's young or whatever.
So they hire him to check it.
Yeah.
Here's where everything goes wrong. So you've got the best friend of the CEO and the CEO's sister, right? And they're like, basically they think it's the best friend.
Basically, what the best friend is saying, there's no money missing. This girl doesn't know what she's talking about. His sister basically is on the same thing. But, you do you.
Yeah.
You're not going to find anything.
Right. And then that's where we get into the private security firm that jumps into this, right? So the private security firm is here, I guess, to make sure this whole plan goes off without a hitch. I don't know.
Yeah, but when one of the CEOs dies, okay, that was an accident because they made it look like an insulin overdose.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. You can't also kill your sister, and you can't also kill the accountant.
Yeah, that raises way too many flags.
Way too many, especially since your sister is in the public.
Yeah.
When she gets murdered, someone's going to say, did his partner also just die?
Yeah.
Like, dude, now we got questions.
Why did so he killed his partner on purpose, I guess. So I guess the plan was to make it look, since, Okay, so he had the accountant, and it was obvious that he was going to uncover what was happening. Which, why did he hire him? I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't know why. That's one of my, I guess, another nitpick. Why did you hire him?
Yeah, just tell the girl that you didn't actually find anything and
Yeah.
move on.
Or, I don't know, maybe don't hire the accountant who does accounting for the mob.
Oh, wait, no. I know what it is. Remember, you said they go public, right?
Yes.
And so it was going to come out, and he was going to pin it on...
He was going to pin it on his friend.
So that's why he hired the accountant. He wanted him to find it, but he was going to pin it on his friend, and that was the whole plan the whole time. So you make it look like the friend committed suicide after the accountant came, and then you give the accountant the check and act like you're all broken up and go, look, I don't want to deal with this anymore. My friend killed himself over it. Here's the check for the work you've done, and end it right there.
Okay, so my thought was don't hire a good accountant, but you're saying yes, because either way we're going to pin it on the friend dies, and end the story.
End of story. The accountant leaves. We show that as a company we did our due diligence. It was the friend, and he killed himself, so that ties up all our loose ends.
Why kill the sister? Why go after Andrew Kendrick? Why kill the accountant? That's when you're making things messy.
Okay, so because the accountant can't let things go.
But remember, this was already in the works before he can't let, because he can't let stuff go. You ruined his whole day.
So remember, I don't think he was going to kill he was going to kill
Yes, remember, because he goes to the old people's house. He goes home, right?
He wasn't going to kill the accountant, though. He said, because it was a line in there. He was like, basically, he set it up to kill the accountant because he was like, he's not going to let it go. And I think that added Anna Kendra's character into it. Dana. So because he knew that Ben Affleck's character wouldn't let it go,
but you don't really
he's going to kill them both.
You know what I mean? Like, you really don't know that, right? Like, you tell him it's done, it's over, you walk out the room. You don't know that this guy physically cannot let it go.
Yeah.
You do not know that. I feel like he was going to kill the accountant regardless. Because you know what I mean? Like, you have no idea that this guy doesn't have the ability to let something go.
Yeah, and so you're right. Killing the accountant, just if you just end it with killing the best friend, then it ties up your loose ends and you're done.
Yeah, and remember, they went there to the old people to kill the accountant, and he already had the hit on Andrew Kendrick.
Yeah.
This is why you're now creating problems. Now people are going to start asking questions.
Yeah, and then I don't know why did he kill his sister? Oh, because his sister found out.
His sister probably found out after all of that.
Yeah.
But my thing is maybe we shouldn't start going on murder sprees.
And this dude had the audacity to have a speech at the end that he does good work and whatever. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're just trying to make it rich and so badly that you killed everyone around you.
Yeah, your own sister.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I do good things, but you were taking money out of your own company.
Yeah.
Like, dude, please, this is just greed and nothing else. Like, call it what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. So, yeah, but let's talk a bit about the private security firm. So obviously the CEO of the company hires this private security firm to do everything they do. And it's headed up by the accountant's brother, who was also a trained assassin person by their father, because I don't know, the father's horrible. Because
the father's horrible, and he had both his boys with him, and basically they were trained at the same time. And I did wonder, I was like, where's his brother?
So here's the bad part. This would have been a huge surprise for me if I didn't see the trailer to the accountant too. So I already knew that it was his brother.
I didn't watch the trailer until after I watched the movie.
Oh, okay. So I saw the trailer in theaters when I went to see the latest Captain America movie.
that wasn't in our theaters.
Yeah. So I'm like, I knew Jon Bernthal was his brother.
Oh, that ruins it.
It does kind of ruin it. I mean, still a good movie, but like, it would have been much more surprising because they don't reveal it into like the very end.
I figured it out when he sat down in front of the cameras, and I was like, oh, that's his brother. because it's like he's watching him take out, because they end up going back to Lamar's house. Did we ever say what that guy's name was?
Oh yeah, the CEO's name is Lamar. My bad.
They go back to Lamar's house, and basically that's all, because by the time the accountant figures out that the person embezzling the money was Lamar and not the friend and not the sister.
Yeah, and to make it clear, he's going to kill Lamar, because if he doesn't, Lamar's going to kill Dana, which is the other accountant.
Yes,
and he's not going to let her die. So
yes,
Lamar dies.
Yes. So he goes there. So basically, at this point, is his brother's team, the team that has been going after all these people and killing all these people, is set up at the house because they know the accountant's going to come to the house.
Yeah.
And so he basically starts taking out that whole team. And so when his brother sits down at the computer and when he starts watching it, I was like, oh, that's his brother. Because it was more than just like, man, this dude is cold. It's kind of like, I know who that is.
Well, they even hinted to it a little bit earlier because he was asking Lamar, he was like, okay, what did this guy look like? And he's like, was he this? And then Lamar mentioned, you know, like he couldn't let it go. He's weird, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I think it kind of tipped him off.
He's like, what does he look like? What does he sound like? And Lamar's like, why does that matter? He's like, because I only know one person good enough to do all of this.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Because at the beginning, he's like, he's an accountant. Like, how hard is it to take out an accountant? That tells you right now, who's an accountant that can also kill people? Yeah. Right? There's only one person. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, oh man, that's his brother. So, but yeah, the trailers ruined it for you.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew it was his brother. Yeah. But that's okay. I was waiting for the reveal.
Well, it was, I think, very
end. Yeah. Which is, it was pretty good. Obviously his brother was mad because he hadn't seen him, I guess, since he went to jail, which we didn't explain. He went to jail because they went to their mom's funeral for some reason. Their father and the accountant, they both went to the funeral. And then, of course, they're telling them they can't be there.
Which, by the way, Mr. Second husband, like, bro, why do you act? You know what I mean? It's like, they go to the wife's funeral, the ex-wife's funeral.
Wait, she's married with 2 boys. Oh, wow. I wonder if she was married with 2 boys before. Yeah. Yeah.
And basically, the new husband's like, this is private. You guys can't be here. Like, who gives you the audacity? Like, to have the amount of audacity to tell this woman's kid that he can't be at her funeral. Yeah. Like, that don't even, like, bruh. It's clearly, you know who this man is. So, you know she abandoned her family. Yeah. And for you to just like, I don't even know how you have the gall to think it is okay to tell this dude he can't be up in here. Yeah. Yeah. And then to get into his face. So, they got into his face, and, you know, it was just all like, bruh, you like crazy, you know, like, whatever. A fight happened.
Right. Someone pulled out a gun. Oh, well, obviously, because the accountant started beating
up people. And Barney Fife pulled out a gun because you know how to do nothing else, and, like fight.
So their father jumped in front of it. So his father dies there. He goes to jail for that. That's where he learns all the accounting stuff from Francis. So his brother hadn't seen him since then. So, you know, he's taking out all his frustrations on him or whatnot. But yeah. That's basically the end of it. Like, you know, they're brothers, so they're not gonna kill each other. No. And he kills the CEO. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was just like, as soon as he realized that was his brother, he was just like, well, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, because he killed his own man. Yeah. He was like, bro, this is my brother. Like, and, you know, like, they fought, got their frustrations out, and he's like, do you wonder where I was? He's like, I knew where you were the entire time. Yeah, I knew where you were. It was like, yeah, so it's just like, you know, his brother's mad. Like, you disappeared. I didn't know where you were. Did you miss me? He's like, I knew where you were. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Yeah. Which actually makes me want to see, okay, where are we going to go with the second movie? Yeah. And I think we get a lot more Jon Bernthal in the second movie. Sounds like it, yeah. Which is great. So, yeah, that's the gist of The Accountant. It was an interesting watch. I was into it from the beginning. I was too. I was like, I didn't know what to expect going in. Like, I knew he was an accountant that could kill people. Yeah. You know, but you know, you get a lot of movies like that, like, oh, you kidnapped my family and I'm gonna go on a rampage. Yeah. So this is kind of like those movies, but better. Yeah. Yeah, better.
Yeah, and I felt like, and there was things that I was wondering, like, man, I wonder what happened to his brother, or like, like watching it is like, man, I wonder how he ended up in prison. So, but they answer all of your questions, and I was interested all the way through.
Yeah. Movie facts.
Some, not a lot. I really thought there would be more, but for some reason, I guess there's not a whole lot about this movie out there.
Oh, okay.
Casting.
Oh, no.
Apparently, yeah, it's bad.
Okay.
Mel Gibson.
As the accountant?
Yeah.
All right, first of all, could you imagine Mel Gibson
First of all,
playing
when he
someone
been like,
with a neurological
just
divergency?
don't even know.
Like,
no, absolutely not. I guess this is probably one of Ben Affleck's better roles because I don't really think he's a great actor, but he does play certain roles very well.
Yeah, I think he did excellent in this.
I think he did great in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I have at casting. I thought horrible. Glad you guys didn't do that.
Oh, before we forgot to mention that when he was a kid, he met a little girl at the institute to help children.
I think her name was Janet.
Yeah, and she was the voice. So basically, she lost the ability to speak, and so she talks to him through the computer, which is why you get the computerized voice when he's on the phone.
Yeah, it's the only way that she can communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
she's his partner.
Yeah, and he befriended her when they were kids, and they stayed close.
Mm-hmm.
All right, random movie facts. This made a worldwide of $155 million. I said that weird. Don't worry about it.
155 million.
Yes, on a budget of 44.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it didn't make a ton of money, but it made a lot of money for its budget.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It made money from the budget. Yeah, that's true. It's not a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I wonder, it probably made more after theaters.
Yeah, I think in order for it to get a sequel, I think it probably got a real big following after the fact because I hadn't heard about it.
Yeah.
So, it's some of those movies that just kind of get lost in the shuffle. Oddly enough, a 53% Rotten Tomatoes score.
From critics?
Yeah, like the fans give it about a 7.5.
Really?
But 53% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, lately, and I know this is an older movie, but between what we saw with the Captain America movie and this, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, which means is like, don't always, if you're looking for that to gauge whether or not you see a movie, don't always, you know what I mean? Because I'll see a movie with 53, this is a green tomato score.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I'm about to go see that.
Yeah, and this is
it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I had fun watching it.
53%.
Yeah, which is weird because like going in, I'm like, man, I'm not sure if I really want to watch this movie, but I enjoyed it. Weird. So at one point, Andrew Kendrick says she went to the University of Chicago where fun goes to die.
Yeah.
That is actually their unofficial motto. I don't know why. I don't know what happens at the University of Chicago, but apparently,
why does fun go to die?
I don't know. I gotta look up things about the University of Chicago. Is it like I don't know. Is it an elite school or something?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently Ben Affleck is actually a very good blackjack player, so much that he is banned from certain casinos because he can't count cards in half. It is not illegal, but they do not like you doing it.
They do not like you doing it.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't suggest doing it.
Yeah. So apparently, speaking when you're Ben Affleck, they're like, bro, don't come back here.
Yeah. So Ben Affleck is a little bit different. You don't do it. Yeah, you might get a stiffer response than Ben Affleck did.
Yeah. So one of the things we didn't talk about, because we said like he gave a lot of his money back to the institute.
Yeah.
Is that he also got paid in like gold, jewelry, paintings, and stuff like that. So some of the stuff he had was in Actions Comic #1 from 1938, which is the first appearance of Superman, worth $4 million.
$4 million. Wow.
Yeah, because like when he rescues Andrew Kendrick, they go back to his trailer.
Yeah.
And Janet was telling him like, pack up your stuff and go. And he grabs some of that stuff and he grabbed that because that's $4 million right there.
Yeah.
Another thing they showed was a Honus Wagner baseball card from 1910. One of the rarest and most expensive cards. The last one sold for $7 million.
Wow.
So dude is sitting on some cash. Okay. He also had a Jackson Pollock painting, which he eventually gave to Andrew Kendrick.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He gave her the Jackson Pollock. And I'm always like, what am I doing with this painting?
Because she can't sell it.
I'm like, yeah, I can't sell it, so I just got...
I think maybe it was just one of the things, because, like, he got kind of close to her. I think it was just one of those things that is like, hey, I really care for you. Here's this thing.
Yeah.
But she can't do nothing.
I mean, he tended probably pretty in a smart way. He had another painting over the top of it, so nobody would be like, "Oh, this is a Jackson Pollock." I feel like that's how you should always ship paintings.
I guess I also don't deal in stolen art, so.
I mean, okay.
But now she has this painting that she can't do nothing with.
How much real art do you think is in museums?
Probably very little.
Like they actually don't have it. I know, like they'd be like, "Oh, the real painting's downstairs" or something like that. But like, how many museums where it's like, "Oh, they don't have it at all"?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, how will we know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, sure. This is the real Mona Lisa. I don't know. Yeah. So the social club that he murdered all of the gangsters in. It's actually the real life social, was anyways, of the Gambino family, which was headed by John Gotti.
Oh.
That was his place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
By that time, Gotti had already been in jail. I don't think he was dead yet. I don't remember when Gotti died. Don't remember. No. But that was their social club.
Okay.
So apparently, you talk about how the trailers ruined the reveal for you. Apparently, the captions on the DVD also did the same thing, because when you're first introduced to his brother, the caption says Braxton blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you find out his brother's name is also Braxton.
And it's like, oh, that's his brother. Captions ruin a lot of things, actually.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I did not have the captions on. I watch TV with the captions on, but I didn't this time.
I had the captions on, but I think I didn't notice because I already knew.
But it was on the DVD. They said that I think when it comes on TV, it's switched with like The Man or something like that. Okay. But for some reason on the DVD, they didn't change it. It gives him his name.
They probably just go through the character roster and like put the name of the character.
But if there's gonna be a character reveal, come on, people.
They're not thinking. They're just the caption people, okay?
Well, sometimes they be bad at their job. Like, I don't want to call y'all for being bad at your job, but sometimes you're bad at your job.
True.
Okay, nitpicks. I guess I only have one left, or maybe two left. So, we already talked about how Medina didn't really do any good detective work.
Yeah.
So, one of the things she did was use facial recognition.
Yeah, but it was the back of his head. She used facial recognition on the back of his head.
It wasn't the back of his head, but it wasn't enough of his face to be matching stuff up. Like, yeah. I'm like, especially like facial recognition, it's not good now. No way in 2016 when you getting this sliver of his face from New York surveillance camera in 2016 and gonna tell me like, oh, I could find. Get out of here. You're not matching his face to anything.
And what did she link that to? Oh, the Gambino murder. That's how she linked it to the Gambino murder.
Yeah, that's how she linked it to the Gambino murder.
Yeah, see, no.
It was just not enough of his face was shown.
That's not happening.
Yeah, just literally not enough. Okay, my last nitpick. At the end, when everyone's being murdered and Braxton goes out there to talk to his brother, why didn't Lamar pack up and leave the house? You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking Lamar's going to come out with a gun and try to shoot him. Like, I don't believe you're not about to kill this man that caused all these problems with me. Either attempt to shoot him and die in the process, or get out the house.
Yeah.
Those are your options. But then he basically comes out like, do you know who I am kind of stuff. And he's like, whatever, dead. Like, legit, like, what was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what was he going to do? He was gonna die anyway.
I know, but I'm all for die trying.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, because now I'm looking like, I don't believe this man I hired is not gonna kill this guy. I would have grabbed a gun and at least be like, I'm about to kill you both. Something. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have worked, but it would have made more sense than that little speech he was trying to give.
Yeah. What happens to that company now?
I guess they just fold.
Because like there's nobody. All of the higher ups are dead now.
Yeah, I literally think it just doesn't exist. So however many thousands of people, they don't have jobs. Whoever was about to get those prosthetics, not going.
One of the board members.
I'm guessing maybe the government sells it off or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Someone with knowledge of how that stuff works.
Oh yeah, they weren't even public yet, so.
I have no idea how that works. Huh. I would think maybe
his son. He didn't have kids.
He didn't have any kids. Does his sister have kids?
I don't know.
But now the government got to investigate. It's all bad.
Yeah, that company's done.
Yeah, it's just all bad. Like whatever good they were doing is no longer.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right, I guess it's time to rate the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We will be putting our ratings right up here
Mm-hmm.
somewhere so we can explain to you which each one is. But I would give this I'd pay for that. I would pay for this movie.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. I really had no faults with it. Especially like going into a movie when I'm like, I really don't feel like watching this. And come out and like, oh, I'm not mad at it. Like, even like looking at the runtime, I was like, man, I wish this movie was an hour and a half. Like, before I watched it.
Yeah.
Like, God, I'm not in the mood for a 2-hour movie. I liked it.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I had no issues.
Yeah. I think I'll be checking out The Accounting too.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first episode of Stupid Movies. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Did you know Braxton was his brother? Let us know. Also, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.